Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. We're back again for another fun show, Sid.
Yahoo!
That's in 6 years, that's our first Yahoo.
It is. Well, it was about time, don't you think?
I think it's been due.
Yes.
It's been due. So welcome to the show. We've got some interesting people here that are going to talk to us about a study they're working on with USU for the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Research Center, which is a mouthful, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But before we do that, Sid, who's our sponsor?
Absolutely. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anybody who cares. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, anyone you would like to see us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid, and thank you to our sponsors who help us to do this, and we very much appreciate that. That allows us to bring this show every week, so thank you to the Empowering Seniors Group. Okay, now, I can't promise I'm going to get this right every time. As a matter of fact, I probably will mess this up many times. But the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Research Center, which is at USU, we are welcoming to the show today Audrey Uhas and Jacob Gosner. Audrey is a researcher working with that group, and Jacob is a project manager with that group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
How did I do? Did I get that mostly right?
I think you did great.
Awesome. Well, Audrey, let's start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you get involved with what you're doing and why you care about that, and then maybe just pass it over to Jacob and we can hear same thing from him.
Sure thing. So I am a researcher at USU. I've been there for about a year. I graduated with my PhD in Human Development and Family Studies in 2019. And since then, I've done some evaluation work and I'm really excited to be a part of this project, helping caregivers of people with Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Jacob?
Yeah, so I'm Jacob Gosner. I'm a current PhD student in Human Development and Family Studies at Utah State University. And I really got involved with this mostly for personal reasons. My family has been caregivers, and I've seen how hard it is, and I've seen how meaningful it is. And I'm also an associate marriage and family therapist, and I work with this in the room, and I want to help people. And so when I was looking for my PhD program, I found Dr. Fouth and saw that she was working with Alzheimer's disease and dementia caregivers, and I wanted to be part of it.
I guess we should say who she is.
And Dr. Beth Fouth is the director of the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Research Center.
Right. Are you guys both from here, from the area?
I'm from Rupert, Idaho, but I've been here for about 15 years.
That's way up northwest of here, isn't it? Gotcha.
And I was raised in Ogden, but now I'm proud to be an Aggie.
That's great. So let's dive into the meat a little bit, and maybe, I don't know, Audrey, do you want to tell us a little bit about the program and what it entails?
Sure thing. So our program has developed ACT for Caregivers. It's designed to reduce stress for family members caring for loved ones with Alzheimer's, dementia, or significant memory loss. The program is free. It's online. You work at your own pace. And because we're conducting a research study on the program's effectiveness, we're currently offering up to $100 compensation for completing the surveys and interviews about your experience. The program has 6 sessions. It takes about 30 minutes each to complete, and we encourage caregivers to try to complete 1 to 2 sessions a week so they can complete the whole program in about a month.
So I want to make sure I understand what the program is. So our objectives are what, and why are you trying to collect this information?
Absolutely. So we're really interested in reducing the stress and improving the quality of life of the caregivers of people with Alzheimer's dementia, because it's such a stressful thing to do, to go through, especially for family members, to see their family members go through this really, really difficult disease. And we want to do something to help support the caregivers and the work that they do.
So there's so much really that's being done or trying to be done for people who have the disease. But this really isn't for that. This is really for people that are around the people.
Absolutely. And I think that it's important to note that, those two things are separate. We're not looking at a new drug to help, prevent dementia or be able to treat it. But at the same time, those caregivers are the ones who are impacting the quality of the life of the person with Alzheimer's. So even though we're not directly looking at the person who has dementia, it's still impactful for them, we believe, because the caregiving aspect is so essential to those people. Jacob, is there anything that you wanted to add to that? I know that you have a lot of expertise.
Yeah, I think the thing I'd say is that one reason that our program is a little bit unique there is that there's a lot of Alzheimer's disease and dementia caregiver interventions that are more what you might call psychoeducational in nature, right? What is the progression of the disease? What are the symptoms? How do you communicate effectively with people with dementia? Really important stuff. And our program has those components, but ours takes a much more skills-based approach of, okay, knowing this, how do you make space for the difficult thoughts and feelings that come up as your loved one is forgetting these things that are so core to who they are, as they're sundowning or wandering around. How do you respond effectively in ways that are going to make it better and in line with who you really want to be, rather than perhaps overreacting in the moment?
So Jacob, maybe could you, because I'm still struggling a little bit with the vision of what's happening when a caregiver goes online, goes through your program. Can you maybe give us an example of how that looks in one segment of it?
Yeah, so the core metaphor we use throughout the program is what's called the choice point. It was developed by Dr. Russ Harris and colleagues, and you can picture it using the image of a V. And with a V, there's two arrows pointing out. One of them points away from the life you want to live, and one of them points towards the life you want to live. And so throughout the program, caregivers learn how to recognize, when am I moving away from who I really want to be? When am I doing things where I'm distracting myself or opting out of stuff I really care about, being more disconnected or reactive than I actually want to be?
And again, this is focused on the caregiver, not the patient. And so these are things that the caregiver will be choosing that is impacting their lives.
Exactly. And then the other side is learning, how can I do more of what actually matters to me? How can I really clarify who I want to be in this relationship and in this role? I may not be able to change the fact that I'm caregiving, so how do I want to do it in a way that I can be proud of, and in a way that at the end of the day I can say I'm living the life I want to live, even in situations that I maybe wouldn't choose?
So if I hear you right, then an important objective is a kind of quality of life for caregiver. How to manage your life so that you're not disappearing while you're providing care for somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we're already coming up on our first break here, and this just ramps me up to give you a chance to maybe mention where people can get in touch with you, if there is a website for them to sign up or a phone number.
Absolutely. So we're currently recruiting. We're looking for 100 participants, and this is nationwide. So if you have a friend or a family member who might be eligible in a different state, please send them our information. We would love to have them be a part of our study. Contact our team at 435-797-1715, and one of our research team members will respond to you. There's a little screener to see if you're eligible or not, and if you're eligible, we'll get you right into the program.
Thank you, Audrey and Jacob. We're at our first break here. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the Valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG, and they will take care of you.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we are visiting with some representatives from the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Research Center, which is at USU. Audrey Uhas is a researcher with USU, and she's working with this group, and Jacob Gostner is a project manager with the group. And we've been talking about a program that you guys are running right now to help with caregivers. I don't know if we've really talked about who's eligible for this. So maybe who are you looking for?
Absolutely. So we are currently looking for people who are caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or significant memory loss. You don't have to have a diagnosis to be eligible. You do need to be a family member. You do not need to be living with them. So if they're in an assisted living home or nursing home, you may still be eligible. People need to be over 18 years old, read and write English, live in the United States, and have access to a computer, smartphone, or tablet with the internet.
What if they have another form of dementia?
That is completely fine. We're not looking at a specific type of dementia or Alzheimer's or any of those sorts of things. We're looking more blanket. What is the experience?
So any dementia symptoms, they would qualify?
Yes. And we do have a screener that if people will contact us, we'll go through the screener and let them know if they're eligible or not. So don't screen yourself out. Just contact us and we'll help you through it.
Perfect. And because this is a study, I think you mentioned it a little bit before, but maybe we need to talk about the time commitment.
Absolutely. So the program itself is 6 sessions. The sessions take about 30 minutes a week, 1 to 2 times a week for about 4 weeks. So we encourage people to get through the program within 30 days because that's how our research protocol is set up. But even if you don't get it through the program in 30 days, you have access to the content forever.
So, Jacob, I'm guessing, were you part of developing this?
Yes, along with Ty Aller, and then the first version was developed in conjunction with Mike Levin, also Utah State University, and Josh Novak, now at Auburn University.
Can you give me an idea of what this looks like? What kinds of questions would I be answering if I were doing this myself?
Yeah, fantastic question. So the program itself is online and self-guided, and yet as I've done interviews with people, they've talked about it almost feels like the program is holding their hands and gently leading them on this journey of discovering for themselves what they really care about, what matters to them, and how they can do more of that in their lives and less of the things they don't really want to do. So to accomplish that, we use several different software features, particularly that as participants are going through, they'll be answering questions about their stressors, the feelings that are difficult for them, some of the situations that are really challenging to navigate. And then we'll help them feed back their own answers to look more deeply at how well is this really working for them, and how can they try something different. And so it's very much a custom fit based on what they answer.
So do you have any, I'm assuming you've spoken with some of the people that have done or participated in this study. Do you have any stories you can share for our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the one who's in charge of all the qualitative interviews, and I've done around 30 so far. Like you said, we're hoping for 100 participants, so we're just about halfway there, and we really hope to get more folks involved because the things that we've heard so far have been really positive. And obviously, we're still waiting on the full results, right? We still need half of our sample, but the preliminary things have been really, really helpful. So one participant talked about how before doing this program, they'd get pretty reactive. There's a lot of stressors involved with caregiving, where it's an all-day job, it's an everyday job, and in particular, the disease progresses. And so it's different from week to week. And so this participant talked about how they used to get really, really stressed, and to cope with that stress, they would watch hours and hours of TV. And things that they didn't really want to do. And they said that because of the things they learned from the program, they were able to drastically cut down on the amount of TV they were watching, as well as to improve their health. And instead of spending that time watching TV, they said that they now spend time with the care receiver outside, looking at the sky, looking at the meadow outside their house, and even watching the stars. And they said they hadn't done that in years, but our program helped them to reconnect with what they really cared about.
So a person that is participating in this, are they able to immediately see the results of their own participation, and do they have access to the results of the research as well? What does that look like?
That's a really great question. And I want to maybe jump in a little bit about the research part specifically. So what Jacob's been describing is about the intervention, what we're studying. Does this work? And the research part of it is we have 4 different surveys that is actually the same survey 4 different times. And then there are these optional interviews that Jacob has been doing as well. And the interesting thing about it is that we've been kind of monitoring our data as it's coming in, and we are seeing that as people are engaged in the program, they are experiencing improvements in their quality of life, some reductions in their stress, but we follow them another 3 months out after they've done the program, and we're seeing that they are maintaining those changes. That it's not just like, oh yeah, I did this program, it was really fun, I feel good about it, but we're seeing some preliminary results that suggest that maybe this might have long-term impacts, but that's why we need more people to participate, is so that we have more power to say those things with authority, that this is really useful, or that it's not very useful and we should move on to something else.
So with a daughter that works as a CNA, I'm just wondering if, does your program also give kind of suggestions or spur imagination on how to come up with these alternative activities, like you said, like sitting out in the yard and maybe just looking at nature?
Yeah, so part of the program, every session involves a practice assignment where you create for yourself, how am I going to act on what I've learned? And then in addition to the program itself, those 6 sessions, we also have an education library, which includes multiple resources that are more psychoeducational in nature about what is dementia, how can you care effectively, how can you communicate effectively, how can you make your home more safe, things like that. So we've really tried to cover a lot of the bases with this program, even though the focus is really on how can I learn some skills to manage my stress and to respond in ways that really move me towards who I want to be and work better over time.
So a person who participates in this program receives monetary compensation for this. But really, if they're in the situation of providing care, they're also going to really benefit from the standpoint of learning some things maybe they didn't know. And that's what you were talking about, right, Jacob? You see that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you expand on that with some other, maybe another example of what you've seen?
Yeah. One of them talked about how she loved to exercise. That was a huge thing she did, but due to some life circumstances, she became a family caregiver quite literally overnight. And exercise went out the window for several months. And through our program, she realized, you know what, I really care about this. And so she chose to find a new way to do it. So now she can't go on long jogs. She can't, go to the gym. So instead, they go on family walks. And that's allowed her to really live the life she wants to live within her situation.
Thank you, Jacob. This is the Senior Moment Show. We're going to take another break, but we'll be right back.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we're speaking with Audrey Uhas and Jacob Gosner. They're both working with the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Research Center at USU, and they're running a program up there, a research program, where they are trying to help the caregivers for people who have this disease and help those people live a better life. And so if you're out there and you're one of these people, how would they best get in touch with you?
Great. So the best way to get in contact with our research team is to just give us a call, leave a message if anybody doesn't answer, and we will get back to you. Our phone number is 435-797-1715.
Awesome. And Audrey, you've talked about that there is also some compensation involved because you do want to show people your appreciation for their time. How does that work?
Absolutely. So there is no charge to actually engage in the intervention, but because it's a research study, we're trying to see, does this thing work? We're compensating people for taking the surveys and for doing the interviews. So there's up to $100 in Amazon gift cards that you can earn by doing the research activities, and you'll get compensated at the end of the study.
Okay, and I'm still not sure I understand. I want to just ask this one more time to make sure I get it. If I participate in this, I'm going to get my information back. Am I going to get other study results back as well so I can see, what else can I learn from this? How else can I be better?
And that is a great question. So everything that is provided to us is de-identified, it's private, it's confidential, it's secure. We went through a very long process to make sure that we have everything in place so that your information is safe. And then the information that we get from all of our participants will be analyzed in a lot of different ways. So one thing that Jacob hasn't mentioned yet is that this is actually a part of his dissertation work that he's currently working on at USU. And so that is a big part of where the information will go. And once that's been completed and other research or other papers or briefs that are done, you can find them on the ADRC website. That's at cehs.usu.edu/ADRC.
Which will be about when?
So research takes a really long time. We've been recruiting for this study for 8 months now, and we anticipate that we will get through all of our recruitment by February of next year, we hope. And then after that, it usually takes some time to clean the data, to really get it into a format where we can analyze it. And then once we get it to that point, that's when we can really start digging in and saying with certainty, wow, this is working for these populations or in this way, or especially with the qualitative interviews that Jacob has been collecting. That takes a lot of time and energy to read through all those transcripts. And because he's getting such great responses, how many interviews do you have so far, Jacob?
I have about 35.
So think about, and these are each a 1 hour interview, that it's going to take a long time for him to be reading through those and finding the themes. So we would anticipate seeing real reports and results maybe in 2025 at the earliest.
So is it premature to ask if you already see a trend of what works for a caretaker?
I don't think that it's necessarily premature to say in our preliminary review of broadly the data that we have so far. So we have what we have, right? We are hoping for 100 participants, and having that number is really important for us to be able to say with certainty if this is just like a fluke. Maybe we got certain people who really resonated with this versus this is really making an impact. This wasn't by chance. This is a real impact. But I have been monitoring the data as it's coming in, and there are trends that suggest that this is effective. In addition, this is built upon a research study that was done 5 years ago, that the difference between what they did and what we're doing is that they just did a sample of, I think, 25 people, and they had they were just looking at, is this even feasible? Can we do it? Whereas we are doing a randomized controlled trial, which is widely accepted as the gold standard in research to say, this isn't just we got a good group, but we really are seeing these differences for these people as compared to people who didn't get the service. But back to your question, I would say that there is evidence that this is an effective approach. We just need more to really say how it's working and that it's having a long-term effect.
So we're quickly running out of time. What does success in this survey look like to you, Jacob? This is kind of your baby, right?
I think ultimately what I'm hoping for is to create a resource that can be used by any family caregiver right now or nationwide, right? A resource that can be used by any family caregiver on their own time, on their own personal device, to learn skills to make their life better. And so ideally that's what we're hoping for as a resource from this, is to make something that is really useful and that we really know is going to help people while they maybe can't go into in-person therapy or don't have the ability to find a support group in their area.
Thank you so much, Audrey and Jacob, to come here and offer that to our listeners. And Jacob, maybe last chance before we end our show to mention that phone number for someone to sign up.
Yeah, anyone who's interested can call us at 435-797-1715. We really hope that participants are interested, and we're excited to see really how we can make this program as useful as possible for family caregivers.
Thank you so much. That was enlightening. And again, this is the Senior Moment Show. We are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about empowering seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're at the end of our show, but we hope you tune in again next week.